Alright guys, so we are back with some more Final Fantasy VII content. We've been talking about a new trailer for this game for almost 4 damn years now. We've been talking about it off and on for a while. And I got to thinking the other day, what do I actually want to see from a new trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake? And I don't know if anybody's ever done a video like this, kind of like a wish list or a wants list for a trailer for a video game. I don't know if this is a thing. I don't know if people do this, but I'm about to. I don't even know if it makes sense right now to you guys, but it will as we go on. But either way, let's hop into the 7 things that I want to see from a new Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer. First up, and probably the most obvious thing we want from a trailer, is a release date or a release window. No matter how good or great the trailer might be, no matter how many cool things they show off, a lot of people aren't really going to care unless we get a release window, release date for this game. We've been waiting. The game got revealed 4 years ago. It's been pretty much silent for the most part for these 4 years. If you give us a trailer and there's still no idea of when the game's going to come out, people aren't really going to care. Plenty of people out there will still embrace a brand new trailer, of course. It'll be great to see new stuff from this game, no matter how long it's taken for the game to actually come out. But at the end, even somebody like me, with my favorite game of all time, they're remaking my favorite game of all time, I'm still going to be a little upset if we get a new trailer and we don't have an idea of when the game's coming out. Next up, I want to see some character reveals. We pretty much have the entire roster of main characters to see still. We've only seen from the 2 trailers we have, we've seen Jesse, Biggs, Wedge, Cloud, Barrett, and we've seen Sephiroth and some key art. But we haven't seen Tifa, Aerith, we haven't seen Red 13, we haven't seen Cid, Yuffie, Vincent, Kate Sith, or Cat She as it's actually pronounced. Well, we obviously know what all these characters look like. They still look very, very different compared to their 1997 versions. You can just look at the comparisons with Barrett. Not to mention, sometime after those trailers came out, Cloud ended up getting a redesign, so maybe the other characters have changed too. So the characters we have seen so far may be different. We may need to see every single character again. Also, the character Bugenhagen, however you say his name, I'm beyond curious what he's going to look like in this remake. Next up, what I want from this trailer is either an idea or a definitive statement of when the first part of this game is going to end. If you guys don't know or don't remember, this game was supposed to come out multi-part or almost episodic in a way because it's a massive game. You're rebuilding this game from the ground up, current gen. It's going to take a very long time to develop. So their idea was to release it in parts. That way people can play the first part as they're working on the second and third or however many parts there's going to be. This is something that I was absolutely against when I first heard about it because people were using the term episodic, which I've played some episodic games. They're okay, but that's not what I wanted from the remake. But that's not even what it's going to be. It's going to be multi-part. It's going to be similar to Final Fantasy 13, which was 3 separate full-size games. And this is going to be something like that. How many parts there's going to be? No idea. But it's something that I've come to embrace as the years have gone on because if they put it out in multiple parts, they can put a lot more into each part. So like the first game, the first part, whatever you want to call it, can theoretically be a lot more fleshed out than if they were to try to finish the entire game and release it as a whole. And if we were sitting around and waiting for the entire game to be finished and then them release it, we're going to be waiting several more years probably, so I'd like to at least play something as soon as I can. Now with the original Final Fantasy VII, the first disc ended right after Aerith dies, so if say they wanted to follow that, then maybe give us some scenes from the City of the Ancients. Don't show Sephiroth killing her obviously, save that for the game, but let us kind of know that that's going to take place in this first part. Or one of the theories or rumors out there is that the first part will end right after we leave Midgard to go into the overworld. So if that's the case, then don't show any scenes or clips or anything from anything that takes place outside of the Midgard segment. That way we know the first game's taking place entirely in Midgard. Now at first it doesn't seem like the Midgard segment of the first disc could be its own game, but really they're going to redo Midgard, make it a lot bigger, a lot more explorable, a lot more things to do, as we've already seen from the gameplay trailer, and they could pack it full of all kinds of content and side quests and things to do to where it could feel like a full game. Next up might seem kind of strange or different, but I want to see a summon in Final Fantasy VII Remake. I've always been interested in the summons when it comes to the Final Fantasy series or any other game that allows you to use like monsters and creatures to fight for you. I think growing up playing Pokemon had that effect on me where it's literally a game where you throw out monsters to fight for you. I've always loved summoning in RPG type games, and I'm very fascinated in what the summons are going to look like in Final Fantasy VII. We got a good look at what modern summons are like when it comes to Final Fantasy 15, though they probably work very different between both of those games. And we got a good look at what badass visuals can be like for Final Fantasy VII summons with Crisis Core. Plus, it's been more than a decade since Crisis Core came out, so it'd be nice to see those very similar cinematics, but in much better quality. And it might seem kind of crazy that they would even show a summon since it's probably going to show a lot of early game content with the new trailer. You don't even get your first summon until after you leave Midgard, go to the Chocobo Ranch. But they actually did kind of like tease summons with some of the gameplay they've showed. It was one of the options on the menu at the bottom left of the screen. Very, very possible that it was like a developer build of the game because you shouldn't have a summon that early in the game, but still it was there. Next up, number 5 on our list, I want to see some more non-fighting gameplay. I definitely do want to see more gameplay itself of fighting and combat and all that other stuff. Again, I want to see what summons look like, but I want to see like Cloud walking around, talking to NPCs, conversing with NPCs, buying items from like traders and merchants and stuff. We learned a long time ago that you can crouch, get behind cover, sneak around locations, avoid combat altogether, so I pretty much want to see any new gameplay mechanics that wouldn't have even been possible in the original game. Like, I don't even know if running around the world and jumping is a thing. Like in Final Fantasy 15, when you're playing and running around the world, you can just, there's a jump button, you can just jump. That wasn't a thing that existed in the older Final Fantasy games. And actually, kind of a side note, a branch off, I mentioned side quests earlier. I don't even know if that's going to be a thing. Are there going to be side quests in Final Fantasy 7 Remake? I don't even know, because in the original game, obviously there was things you could do that weren't just the main story. You could go off and do other stuff, but it wasn't really side quests in what we consider side quests these days in RPGs. And in Final Fantasy 15, you had that. You could pick up quests, you could pick up hunts, you could do other things, a lot of other things besides the main story. And I'm just wondering if that's going to be a thing in the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like, can I walk up to an NPC in Midgar and they're like, hey, can you go kill this thing? Can you go give me this item? Can you deliver this item to this person? Like, hopefully that's a thing that exists in this game, because that'd be fucking great, because the original didn't have that. Next up at number 6 is a big one for me, probably the most important for me specifically, should probably be the last thing on the list, but we need to know if the game is going to be open world or not, or if it's going to be linear. This is almost a make it or break it for me. I'm going to get the game regardless. Obviously, I'm not going to pass on a remake of my favorite game of all time, but I need to know if the game's going to be open world, man. I need to know if I can leave Midgar, run around an open world, and like go to Calm, the town after Midgar, and then go from Calm to the Chocobo Farm, from the Chocobo Farm to the Mithril Mines, just like we did it in the original game, and any other side locations they might add since it is an updated version. Like I said previously, this one's very important to me, and probably it's important to a lot of people out there. One of the staples of the older Final Fantasy games was having an entire world to explore, getting a boat, getting a car, getting an airship, be able to explore the entire planet, and that has to happen with this game. Even as complicated as it might be, it has to happen. Final Fantasy 15 had a great open world, but there's only one map, one big open world, and then the game closes down in the second half once you get the boat and go across the ocean to whatever the other town was. And that's why I'm kind of worried, because Final Fantasy 15 did that. There was a great open world for a part of the game, and then the game was terrible after that. Maybe that's why they're doing this in multiple parts. Maybe the first game, the first part, whatever you want to call it, would be like Midgar, the area outside of Midgar, maybe all the way to Junon, past the Mithril Mines and stuff like that, and then maybe the first part ends somewhere around there. And the second part picks up after you've already crossed the ocean to Costa del Sol, and does that whole area as an open world, or that whole continent as open world, or something like that. I don't know exactly, but it's got to be open world, man. It cannot be linear. But I'm not saying that like I don't want to be able to explore the ocean as well, because you have to. That's what the original game allowed. The original game had a buggy that allowed you to go across like rivers, and then you eventually got like a crashed plane that let you go into shallow waters. Then you eventually got an airship and a submarine where you could go down under the water, under the ocean, explore. I want all that in the game, man. I hope that they have that. And last up on our list, number 7, it kind of contradicts our third spot, but I want to see some more iconic moments from the game as a whole within a new trailer. So this could be stuff like the first Mach reactor exploding. This could be the scene where Aerith dies. Again, don't show Sephiroth actually killing her, but show Aerith praying at the City of the Ancients so that you know that's the scene where she's going to die. And then maybe Sephiroth walking through the fire, probably the most iconic shot from the entire game. That could actually be the final moments of the trailer. Like, you go through the whole trailer showing whatever they're going to show us, and at the very end you see Sephiroth. It'd be our first reveal of seeing him in Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then turns around and walks through the fire, and then the trailer ends. And now that I'm saying it out loud, that's actually the perfect way to end a brand new trailer for this game after 4 years of silence, showing us the most iconic shot of the entire game, and revealing to us the most iconic villain, probably in all of gaming. Anyways, my dudes, that'll pretty much wrap up the video. Kind of a different discussion, different kind of topic, but I thought it was interesting, and it's something I never really even thought about that much. Like, when I'm waiting on a new game, or anticipating a game, I never really sat there and thought, you know, what do I actually want to see from this trailer? So I thought it was kind of an interesting topic. This is a video I've had on the back burner for about a week or so now. It's something I want to get out as soon as I possibly could, because, of course, there's a rumor that Final Fantasy VII Remake will be at E3 this year. Square Enix is anticipating a really big revenue later this year. That could potentially be the Avengers project that we've been waiting on for a very long time. I'm not particularly interested in it. I'm somebody that's kept up with all the MCU, watched all the movies for, 10 or 11 years now, but I'm not really that interested in an Avengers game necessarily. If it's like that Spider-Man PS4 game, I guess it could be pretty damn good. And with Square Enix holding a concert specifically dedicated to Final Fantasy VII a couple of days before E3, in the exact same city as E3, just kind of all adds up to it being at E3 this year. So hopefully we do get a new trailer. So as usual, I'll pass off to you guys in the comment section. What do you want to see from a new trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake? Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and want to stay up to date with more Final Fantasy VII related content. Turn on notifications. Follow me on Twitter at @TheDashingDavid, at my Discord. Links to my social networks are in the description and in the outro. Later, guys. Give me forever for a while, give me forever for a while, quit acting like
like a baby, or at least less like a child. Give me serenity, or at least just peace.